Good evening, everyone. Tonight, this is going to be really quick because I am sure since you're all professionals in the IT world, that you know what this is about. So tonight, it says here, what is Web3 in English? Since we need to communicate to the man on the street like me. I'm not a tech guy, so hopefully the more understanding we have about Web3, the better for mass adoption. Okay, this is an introduction to Web3. Chances are we woke up this morning with the internet, right? I see some smiley faces. Well, we woke up to the internet, we checked our phones for messages from your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, whatever. Or to check the news, right? Or to even marites about, lumaki po ako sa farm, Your Honor. But have we wondered how and when the internet started? Well, the birthday of the internet is actually January 1st, 1983. We learn something new every day. That's when TCP/IP was established so that one computer network can talk to another computer network. It wasn't easy during the time because kanya-kanya. So finally, we had a universal language in TCP/IP. However, it took another 8 years for people to adapt to the internet. In 1991, internet adoption came with websites that provided static content. Okay? So this is Web 1.0, as we know, as we call it. It's a read-only internet. So basically, it's one way. If you're lucky, after a long, long wait, something finally loads in your computer and all you can do is read. So in Web 1.0, we, the users, are the consumers. We consume the data. We read and we get the data. No interaction whatsoever. Then came Web 2.0. This is the read and write internet, and this is the internet as we know it to be today. Okay. It's very interactive, you know that. You can actually buy food, you can actually rent a car or a vacation home. You can even make believe that you are a writer and publish a book. It's very interactive. You can talk to your friends from different parts of the globe. So this is today's internet, and we are all familiar because we're in it today. And the main currency of Web 2.0 is data, or as the Americans call it, data. The internet users, us, we are the products, okay? Web 1.0, we are the consumers. Web 2.0, we are now the product. But today's internet is broken. And let me tell you why. Ownership is essential to human beings, right? All our lives, we go to school because we want to own a diploma. We want to own a degree. We want to own your house. You want to own stuff for your family. Food, clothing, shelter. Very basic in human experience. Why? Because ownership gives us and our family security. Okay? Now, the world's most valuable currency today is not the US dollar. It's not a brick of gold. It is personal data. That is where the action is. Can you imagine? Think about it. If you are into SEO or search engine optimization, grabe, I feel really, these guys in Google are geniuses. You know, you bid so much. I used to work in film school. I would bid Hollywood filmmaking as a what do you call this? For our SEO. And that is very expensive because a lot of people, their keyword is filmmaking, right? We want to rank our website with the keyword filmmaking. That is a word that was not invented by Google, and yet Google is making money out of us people, poor users. We are bidding on a word. So can you imagine? So again, big tech is getting your data, your personal data, your identity, without you giving them permission. Like it or not, they own your data. That's why I say it's broken. And in 2016, Cambridge Analytica got harvested 87 million Facebook user profiles. And they used that data to manipulate the US presidential election. And what the result of that is? The Americans elected Donald Trump. And why is that so bad? Well, just today, we woke up to the news that Donald Trump is found guilty in all 34 counts of felony by a New York, court. And he goes down in history as the first ex-president to be convicted of a crime. Therefore, I rest my case. That, my friends, is the result of a broken internet. Of course, we have our own version, but I'm not going to go there. What lantas ICC? Actually, this is a dry run for my talk on the 19th. Okay, another thing. Trust is overrated. In 2008, the global financial crisis, if you remember, businesses and even countries like Iceland went bankrupt. I don't know, maybe you're too young to know this, but I was part of that. I experienced this. Millions lost their jobs and their homes and their future. This was triggered, by the way, by the American subprime crisis. The subprime crisis is when the banks, because it was very, very profitable for them, they securitize mortgages. You know, when you buy a house, you don't use cash because houses are expensive. You go to the bank, you mortgage the property. Okay, you mortgage, you take out a loan, in other words, from the bank, and then you pay regularly to the bank. Of course, you will want to pay your amortization. Why? Because otherwise, you live on the street, right? So it was a very solid investment because nobody would dare default on their mortgages. Otherwise, they will be they'll be sleeping in the street. But what happened was when they ran out of good AAA mortgages, what they did was they repackaged it and threw in basura loans, or what was known then as ninja loans. Ninja. No income. No asset. Ninja loans. No job. Okay? In other words, bisag kinsa, basta buhuam, pahuamon. They didn't care. Why? Because they invented another thing, another financial product called credit default swaps. I'm not going to go into the details, but what it means simply is, let's say Ernesto has a loan. He's a ninja. No job, no income, no asset. But akong gipahuwaman siya. Then I turn around and go to Joel. I will get a credit default swap, another financial instrument. What this means is if he will default on his loan, Joel will pay me, because credit default swaps or CDUs were murag insurance ba? Kaya mo default gani siya, kubra ko sa insurance. See, so the whole thing was really a big mess. So much so that the entire world almost collapsed. Global man siya. Because it's not only, it started in the US, but they were selling the bonds abroad as well. So the banks, the financial institutions, government regulators like the Fed, who's the central bank of the US, and the SEC were game. Nabudol sila sa mga taga Wall Street. Okay? Sino ang nagbudol? Itong mga to. These are CEOs. These are very famous faces. You should not forget these faces because they almost threw the world in mayhem. That's Jamie Dimon right there. Okay, now, the very institutions that we trusted failed to safeguard our welfare. That's why I say trust is overrated. Why? We trusted them. They only had one job, and yet they failed. Okay? The investment banks were, it's like rubbing salt to the wound. These people, these CEOs, they were deemed to be too big to fail. So the government bailed them out. Can you imagine? Using taxpayers' money. That is really very insulting. Enter Web3. Actually, my decentralized slide disappeared. I don't know why. But anyway, Web3 is the read, write, and own internet. Okay? First is read only. Second, Web 2.0 is read and write. And now, ownership is introduced. In 2014, our idol, Gavin Wood, coined the term Web 3.0. That's why I know you've been through many talks, many workshops, and every time you will always come across somebody saying, what is Web 3? So to be safe, we get it straight from the mouth of the guy who invented it, and that's Gavin Wood. According to Gavin Wood, Web 3 is an internet that is decentralized, number one, and trustless. Okay? I already showed why I said trust is overrated. Because we trusted them, they screwed us, so let's not trust them anymore, right? So we will look for a way where we don't need to trust anyone. Thus Web3 is the answer. Why? Because Web3 is trustless. You don't need to trust any intermediaries. An internet where we control our own data, our own identity, and our own destiny. How? Our own data with Web3, Nobody owns and controls the data. It's all recorded in the blockchain. And that blockchain information is available to everyone. So there's no Facebook controlling you. Okay? There's no Google controlling you. Everybody who is in the blockchain will know your data. And it is your choice how you want to monetize your data, if you want to go there. If somebody is selling my information, why shouldn't I get a piece of the action, right? Ganun sila na may magkakwarta. So with Web3, we get to control that. And destiny, why? Because Web3, if you own the token, the native coin, or native token of that particular blockchain, you have a say. You can vote on policies and things that you want changed in that blockchain. You can. Decentralized online ecosystem based on blockchain that is transparent. So this is another very important word, immutable. Why lalis? Once it's there, nobody can change it. And it's for the whole world to see. And trustless, I already mentioned trustless. It cuts out financial intermediaries, those people that I spoke about a few minutes ago. Like regulators, central banks, corporate monoliths that have repeatedly breached our trust and our privacy. Oh, here, nasaag ako slide. Decentralized. Decentralization means breaking us free from Meta, from Alphabet, and Amazon, and so on, big tech. Decentralization gets rid of the expensive middlemen. I already touched on that. The controlling intermediaries like central banks that dictates monetary policy. Transactions happen peer-to-peer using smart contracts. So, direct na. You want to deal with Noah? Go straight. We make a deal. The whole world doesn't need to know about it. I don't need to trust Noah. I see once the certain conditionalities of our smart contract is achieved, it kicks in. Automatically, I get paid. So I don't need to trust Noah. And decentralization minimizes censorship of individuals and of ideas, obviously. Why? Because think of decentralization as, hey, like in China, there's no Facebook in China. It's very easy to turn off Facebook in China. You can do it, right? But try turning off blockchain. Many governments tried and failed miserably. Why? You can't. Because it's not in one location. It's decentralized. Anybody in any part of the globe that has a computer and it's in the blockchain is an AWS. It's a server. So how can you turn off all the servers in the world? You can't do that. Oh, again, it's the same. Web3, in other words, is moving away from trust. As Gavin Wood would say, we're creating a world of truthful rather than trustful interaction. Less trust, more truth. An internet where personal data is no longer the currency. And that is Web3 in English. Thank you very much.